Imagine waking up on a Monday morning, no alarm screaming at you, no boss expecting you in the office, no soul-crushing commute through traffic. Instead, your phone buzzes gently on the nightstand. You pick it up, still half asleep, and see a notification from your brokerage app. Dividend payment received, $467. That's not a bonus. That's not a gift. That's your investments paying you, just like a paycheck, except you didn't have to work for it this month. Now, what if I told you this isn't some far-off retirement fantasy? What if your investments could start paying you every single month starting right now? Today, I'm breaking down 3 ETFs that are doing exactly that for thousands of investors around the world. And one of them is paying nearly 10% annually. That's more than 10 times what most savings accounts are offering right now. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how much you'd need to invest to replace your income, or at least build a serious second stream of cash flow. Let's talk about why this matters. The traditional path we've all been sold is broken. Work for 40 years, save whatever's left over after bills, throw it in a 401k, and hope you have enough to retire comfortably. But what if there was a different way? What if, instead of waiting until you're 65, you could start building a second income stream right now while you're still working? That's the power of dividend investing. When you own dividend-paying stocks or ETFs, companies are literally paying you just for being a shareholder. And here's where it gets even better. Instead of spending hours researching individual stocks, trying to pick winners and avoid losers, these ETFs do all the heavy lifting for you. They're professionally managed, diversified across dozens or even hundreds of companies, and they're designed specifically to generate income. Let me put this in perspective with some simple math that might just change how you think about money. If you invested $100,000 into an ETF yielding 9% annually, you'd receive $9,000 per year in passive income. That's $750 a month hitting your account without you lifting a finger. Now scale that up. What if you invested $500,000? That's $45,000 a year, or $37.50 a month. Suddenly, you're talking about replacing a real salary. Today's mission is simple. I'm going to analyze 3 battle-tested ETFs with completely verified data, real performance numbers, and monthly payment schedules. These aren't theoretical. These are real funds managing billions of dollars for real investors right now. But before we dive in, I need to make something crystal clear. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing in this video is financial advice. This is purely educational content designed to give you information so you can make your own informed decisions. These ETFs are tools, not recommendations. ETF number 1, the JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF, ticker symbol JEPQ. I'm calling this one the Income Beast, and when you see the numbers, you'll understand why. This fund is currently paying a 9.78% annual dividend yield, and it pays monthly. Let me say that again. Monthly payments, nearly 10% yield. Now, you might be thinking this sounds too good to be true, like some kind of gimmick or risky strategy. But here's what makes JEPQ legitimate. This fund has $29.53 billion under management. That's nearly $30 billion. This isn't some tiny experimental fund that could disappear tomorrow. This is a massive institutional-grade ETF managed by JP Morgan, one of the largest and most respected financial institutions in the world. The current share price is $57.31, which makes it accessible for most investors. You don't need to be wealthy to get started. Each share pays out $5.61 annually in dividends. And remember, those payments come every single month. That's 12 paychecks per year from this one investment. The expense ratio is 0.35%, which means for every $10,000 you invest, you pay $35 a year in fees. That's reasonable, especially considering the income this fund generates. And here's the credibility kicker. GPQ has a 5-star overall rating from Morningstar and a 5-star 3-year rating. It's in the top tier of its category with 77 funds competing. So what's actually inside this fund? This is where it gets interesting. When you buy JEPQ, you're basically buying ownership in the biggest tech giants on the planet. The top holding is NVIDIA at 10.2% of the portfolio. That's the company powering the AI revolution. Second is Microsoft at 8.9%. Third is Apple at 8.1%. But it doesn't stop there. You've also got Amazon at 5.9%, Google at 5.3%, Broadcom, Meta Platforms, Netflix, Tesla, even Costco. These are household names, companies you interact with every single day. The sector breakdown tells the story even more clearly. 53% of this fund is invested in information technology. You're riding the wave of AI, cloud computing, software, and semiconductors. Another 15.6% is in communication services, and 14.2% in consumer discretionary. This is a tech-heavy, growth-focused fund. But here's the magic. JEPQ doesn't just buy and hold these stocks. It uses a covered call strategy to generate that massive income. Without getting too technical, the fund sells call options on the stocks it owns, collecting premium income on top of any stock appreciation. They're making money two ways, from the growth of companies like Nvidia and Microsoft, and from the option premiums they collect every month. That's how they're able to pay out nearly 10% annually. Now let's talk performance, because yield doesn't matter if the fund is losing value. Year to date in 2025, GEPQ is up 9.56% in price appreciation alone. That's the value of the shares going up. But remember, you're also collecting that 9.78% dividend yield. Add those together and you're looking at a potential total return of nearly 19% this year. That's exceptional. And this isn't a brand new fund without a track record. JEPQ launched in May of 2022, which means it's been through market volatility, interest rate hikes, tech sector corrections, and it's thrived through all of it. To put this in context, in a world where high-yield savings accounts are paying around 4% and the average stock market return is historically around 10%, GPQ is crushing both with its combined income and growth potential. Now JEPQ is aggressive. It's tech-focused, it uses options, and that 9.78% yield is incredible, but it comes with higher volatility. So what if you want something more balanced? What if you want steady income, but with more diversification across different sectors? That brings us to ETF number 2, the Amplify CWP Enhanced Dividend Income ETF, ticker symbol DIVO. I'm calling this the Balanced Warrior. DIVO takes a different approach. The distribution yield is 4.66%, which is less than half of JPQ. But before you dismiss it, hear me out. This lower yield comes with significant advantages that might actually make it a better fit for many investors. First, DIVO still pays monthly. You're getting that consistent cash flow hitting your account 12 times a year. The current share price is $44.60. Making it even more accessible than GPQ if you're just starting out. The fund manages $5.2 billion in assets, so it's substantial and stable. The expense ratio is 0.56%, which is higher than GEPQ, but there's a good reason for that active management fee. Here's where DIVO really shines. The track record. This fund launched in December of 2016. That's almost 9 years of real-world performance data. And those numbers are impressive. Year-to-date in 2025, DIVO is up 7.78%. Over the past year, it's returned 15.51%. Over 3 years, it's averaged 13.55% annually. Over 5 years, 14% annually. And since inception, it's averaged 12.14% per year. Do you see the pattern here? This isn't a flash in the pan. This is consistent, steady, double-digit returns year after year after year, and it's earned serious recognition for it. DIVO has a 5-star overall Morningstar rating, a 4-star 3-year rating, and a 5-star 5-year rating among 74 funds in its category. This is a proven performer. But the real story is in what DIVO holds and how it's diversified. Unlike GPQ's heavy tech concentration, DIVO spreads its bets across the entire economy. The largest sector allocation is financials at 26.75%. That's banks, insurance companies, investment firms, financial services. These are stable, dividend-paying businesses that have been around for decades. Information technology is only 15.94% of the portfolio, so you still get exposure to tech growth, but it's not dominating everything. Industrials make up 15.54%. That's manufacturing, infrastructure, aerospace, defense. Consumer discretionary is 14.35%. Communication services, consumer staples, healthcare, energy. Devo is invested in 8 major sectors of the economy. Here's why that matters. If tech stumbles, if there's a correction in the NASDAQ, if AI stocks pull back, you're not going down with the ship. Devo's diversification acts as a shock absorber. You're getting income from financial dividends, industrial dividends, consumer staples dividends. Some sectors zig while others zag, and your monthly payments keep coming regardless. So now we've covered aggressive income with JEPQ and balanced growth with DIVO. But what about the foundation? What about the rock-solid sleep well at night core holding that might have a lower yield but offers incredible stability and growth potential? That's ETF number 3, the Fidelity High Dividend ETF, ticker symbol FDVV. I'm calling this one the steady giant. Now, when I tell you the yield is 2.98%, you might wonder why I'm even including this in a video about replacing your paycheck. Here's why. FDVV is absolutely crushing it in total return, and it costs almost nothing to own. The expense ratio is just 0.16%. That's half the cost of GPQ and about 1/3 the cost of Devo. For every $10,000 you invest, you're paying just $16 a year in fees. That might not sound like much, but over 20 or 30 years, those savings compound into tens of thousands of dollars staying in your pocket instead of going to fund managers. FDVV manages $6.8 billion in assets. The current share price is $55.53. It pays $1.79 per share annually in dividends, and those payments come quarterly, not monthly. So you're getting 4 paychecks per year instead of 12. The fund holds 121 different companies, which is massive diversification. But here's the kicker that might surprise you. Year to date in 2025, FDVV is up 14.09% in price appreciation. That's actually beating both JEPQ and DIVO in share price growth this year. The most recent dividend of 38 cents was paid on September 23, 2025, showing consistent, reliable payments. So what's the trade-off here? Lower yield, but higher growth potential. This is a critical concept in dividend investing. You make money 2 ways. You make money from the dividends themselves, and you make money from the stock price going up. GPQ prioritizes income through that covered call strategy, which can sometimes cap the upside growth potential. FDVV prioritizes total return, which means more of your gains come from share price appreciation rather than dividend payments. Neither approach is better or worse, they're just different tools for different goals. FDVV still has quality holdings. Nvidia is the top position at 6.37%. Microsoft is second at 5.56%. Apple is third at 5.48%. But notice those percentages are much smaller than JEPQ's concentrated positions. FDVV spreads the wealth more evenly. You've also got Broadcom, JP Morgan Chase, international banks like ABN AMRO, Visa, Philip Morris, Exxon Mobil, Bank of America. It's a truly diversified portfolio. The sector allocation tells the full story. 25.8% in information technology, so you still get tech exposure, but it's balanced. 18.2% in financials, 12.1% in consumer staples, which are recession-resistant companies like food, beverages, household products. 9.4% in utilities, which are steady, regulated businesses that pay reliable dividends. 9% in energy, 8.7% in real estate. This is your Sleep Well at Night foundation. This is the ETF you buy and hold for decades, reinvesting the dividends, letting compound growth do the heavy lifting. While GPQ might swing with tech volatility and Divo might adjust with economic cycles, FDVV just steadily grinds higher year after year. So now you've seen all 3 ETFs, Jack with its aggressive 9.78% monthly income, Devo with its balanced 4.66% monthly income and proven track record, FDVV with its low-cost, high-growth, steady dividend approach, And here's the beautiful thing, you don't have to choose just one. The smartest strategy is often a blended approach that combines all three, leveraging the strengths of each while minimizing the weaknesses. Let me give you a practical example of how this could work. Let's say you have $100,000 to invest and you want to build a dividend income portfolio. You could allocate 40% to JPQ, 30% to DEVO, and 30% to FDVV. Here's what that looks like in real numbers. $40,000 in JPQ at a 9.78% yield generates $3,912 per year. $30,000 in DEVO at 4.66% generates $1,398 per year. $30,000 in FDVV at 2.98% generates $894 per year. Add those up and your total annual income is $6,204. That's $517 per month in passive dividend income from a $100,000 investment. Now let's scale this up and really see the power. If you invested $500,000 using this same allocation, you'd be generating $31,020 per year, or $2,585 per month. That's a real second income stream. That's a car payment, a mortgage payment, groceries, utilities, covered every single month. And if you invested $1 million, you'd be generating $62,040 per year, or $5,170 per month. At that level, you're talking about replacing an average American salary with nothing but dividend income. You wake up, you check your phone, money hits your account every single month. Whether you go to work or not, whether the economy is good or bad, whether you're on vacation or sleeping, the dividends keep coming. Now, I need to bring this back to reality for a second. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a get-rich-for-sure strategy, but it requires time, discipline, and patience. Most people won't have $100,000 or $500,000 to invest all at once, and that's completely okay. The beauty of ETFs is you can start small. Start with whatever you can afford. Maybe that's one share of DEVO at $44. Maybe it's 10 shares of JEPQ for $573. The key is to start and then to be consistent. Invest regularly. Reinvest those dividends to buy more shares. Let compound growth work its magic over 5, 10, 20 years. The investors who win aren't the ones who time the market perfectly or find the magic stock that goes up 1,000%. The winners are the ones who start early, stay consistent, and let time do the heavy lifting. So here's what I want you to do after watching this video. First, research these 3 ETFs yourself. Go to the official websites. Look at JP Morgan's fact sheet for JEPQ. Read Amplify's documentation on DIVO. Check out Fidelity's information on FDVV. Verify everything I've told you today. Second, check if your brokerage offers these ETFs. Most major brokerages like Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, Robinhood all offer them with zero commission trading. Third, and this is important, talk to a financial advisor if you have one, or consider consulting with one if you're making significant investment decisions. They can help you understand how these fit into your overall financial plan, your tax situation, your retirement goals. And finally, take action. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. If dividend income makes sense for your goals, start building your portfolio. I want to hear from you. Which of these 3 ETFs interests you most? Are you drawn to JEPQ's aggressive income, DEVO's balance and track record, or FDVV's low-cost growth potential? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you found this video valuable, if you learned something new about dividend ETFs and how they could potentially replace or supplement your income, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. I create data-driven investing content like this regularly, breaking down complex financial topics into clear, actionable information. Your support means everything and helps me keep making these videos.